Wringer Chapter 12. In his dream the pigeons came to town, not 5,000, but millions. In their beaks they pinched the edges of the town, plucked it up, and flew away with it, as if it were a Christmas tree display on a tablecloth. The only sound was the flutter of wings. Palmer wondered where they were going. They seemed to be leaving the earth behind. Ahead, all around, was nothing but space and the blackest of nights. On and on they flew. Then he felt a spot of warmth on his face. A puff of light broke through the blackness. He began to worry. Were they headed for the sun? Were they going to dump him and the whole town into that fiery ball? The light grew brighter. A pigeon was pecking him on the rump, pecking him and giggling. He squirmed to get away. He tried to scream, but instead of his own voice he heard another one saying, "Pinch him harder! Did you get bare skin?" He opened his eyes. The light was blinding, then went away. It was totally dark. The night light was off, and he was not alone in bed. Somebody was in bed with him. He started to make a sound, but his mouth was clamped by a hand. Somebody laughed out loud. Somebody growled, "Shut up! They'll hear!" He smelled baked beans. The light reappeared. It was a little pen light. It shone on two faces. One of them said, "Shut up now, Snots, okay? It's just us, Beans and Mutto, okay?" Palmer nodded, and the hand left his mouth. He sat up. "What are you doing here? How'd you get in?" A glance at his window answered the question. The screen was up. His window was above the roof of the back porch. It could be done. Next thing he knew, he was yanked out of bed and onto his feet. "Come on," whispered Beans. "We got somewhere to go." It did not occur to Palmer not to go along. Once the shock wore off, he realized what an honor had been granted him. Imagine, a month ago these guys ignored him, except to tease him. Now they snuck into his house and climbed into bed with him. Palmer LaRue. Amazing. He turned on his nightlight and dressed, and out the window they went. From the roof edge they slid down a plank that Beans and Mutto had borrowed from a building site. "Let's go," barked Beans. "Where?" said Palmer, but Beans was taking off. They were a whisper through the nighttime town. By Beans' orders they kept to the alleyways. They trotted in file, first Beans, then Mutto, then Palmer. The only sound was their sneakers patting the ground. Never before, not even on New Year's Eve, had Palmer been up so late. Not to mention outside without a parent. It was not like Palmer to do this. He had always been an obedient kid. Laid down a rule, and Palmer followed it. He cringed at what his parents would say if they found out. But the thrill of it, the honor of it, swept all the other feelings away. Jogging through the dark and sleeping alleyways, skirting pools of streetlight, he imagined he was a toy-led soldier come to life, following Sergeant Beans and Private Mutto on a mission behind enemy lines. He loved these guys. He'd follow them anywhere. He wondered what other adventures awaited him in the days and years ahead. They trotted through the park and past the National Guard Armory. They turned a corner. They were at the old boarded-up railroad station. Palmer smelled something like animals and heard small, soft sounds. In the moonlight he saw a second building, as tall as the station and nearly as long. He did not remember this second building. He began to hear that the sounds were voices, and he saw that the second building was not a building at all. It was a mountain of crates and soft, sleepy cooings. It was 5,000 pigeons. He stopped. Beans and Mutto trotted on. They cheered and yipped and did a nutty dance before the stacked crates. Their moon-cast shadows snagged on potholes in the old parking lot and pulled like black taffy. They made their arms like rifles and barked, "Bang! Bang!" and a squabbling uproar filled the night. "Come on, Snots!" they called. They picked up sticks and racketed along the slats. They played the crates like drums. Snots! Palmer could not move. 10,000 orange eyes burned holes in his heart. He heard a wrenching screech. They were ripping open a crate. What were they up to? Grab 'em! Grab 'em! Beans was shrieking. 10,000 orange eyes. Got him! Palmer called. I gotta go back. I have to go to the bathroom. He ran. He did not use the alleys. He ran down the middle of the streets, the middle of the lights, chased every step by the uproar of crates. 10,000 orange eyes trailing him into his house, into his bed, under his sheet, and into his sleep. In the morning, Saturday morning, awakening, he heard tiny popping sounds in the distance. He closed his window, pulled down the shade. He brought his TV closer and turned it on loud. Blessedly, they did not come for him. Still, to be on the safe side, he told his mother he was ill and stayed in bed all day. She looked at him a little funny at first, then was especially nice the rest of the day, as if he really was sick. She did not try to make him open the window because it was July. She turned on the fan. He watched TV, he read, he cut out Beetle Bailey comics for his collection. His mother played cards and Monopoly with him. He did not play with his toy soldiers. Several times when the light was deeply golden on the window shade, he heard the doorbell downstairs, and his mother going to answer. She did not say who was there, and he did not ask. When his mother came in to kiss him good night, she turned off the TV and opened the window. The night was silent.